Hi English lovers, Jalif here. Let's learn English.
Hi everyone, it's me again, Jalif. In this video, we are going to learn about if conditional sentences. What are they and how to use them? Let's find out in this video. First of all, I'd like to ask you, have you ever imagined that you can be someone? Something like, I wish I could be Britney Spears. I wish I could be a Blackpink member. Or maybe you wish that you would have a lot of money so that you can buy anything you want. Have you ever thought about that? Well, that kind of imagining things like that can be described by using if conditional. So now the question is, what is if conditional? If conditional tenses are used to describe what could happen, what might happen, or what we wish would happen. It usually or generally divided into two parts. The first part will have the if words in it to describe the possible situations, and the second one is the consequences. So for example, if you have a lot of money, then you will be able to buy a lot of things, something like that, a condition and a result. However, if conditional tenses are divided into four types. The first one is zero conditional, and then we have first conditional, second conditional, and third conditional. We are going to discuss it briefly. The first type of if conditional is zero conditional. Zero conditional is used to express a general rule or scientific fact that is always true. Note the K word here. General rule and scientific fact. It's always true. For example, if you heat ice, it melts. If you heat ice is the condition, and melts is the result of you heating the ice. The important questions to ask here is it always true when we use zero conditional? The answer is yes. And then, are we talking about general truth? We are talking about general truth. How certain is the result when we use zero conditional? We could say that it's up to 100%. So when we heat the ice, 100% the ice will melt. That's why we use zero conditional. It's a fact, it's a general truth. How to form zero conditional? When we creating a zero conditional sentences, we use simple present tense for the condition and simple present tense for the result. For another example, if it rains, the grass gets wet. You can also change the position into the grass gets wet if it rains. So the position of if clause and the main clause, it doesn't affect the meaning. You can always change the position of if clause and main clause. The second type of if conditional is the first conditional. It is used to talk about the situation that we see as possible in the future. Note the key word here, possible. Possible means it can happen or it cannot happen. So this is different with zero conditional. When we use zero conditional, we use to talk about a fact, a general truth. It 100% will happen. But this one is a possibility. So we can use it to express a variety of function. For example, we use it for an offer, a threat, a warning, or a consequence. For example, if it rains, I will stay at home. The important questions to ask is, are we talking about the present or the future when we use first conditional? The answer is we are talking about the future. Is it possible this will happen in the future? Yes, it is possible. But how? The probability of the if clause. It's about 50%, and the result clause can be up to 100%. How to form first conditional sentence? We use if clause using present simple tense, and then present future tense for the result. For example, if I pass this exam, this is the if clause, we use present simple, and then what will happen is I will celebrate. So that's the consequences using future simple tense. If I pass the exam is the if is the condition, and now celebrate is the result, the consequence if we pass the exam. That's the example of first conditional. Now, let's moving on to the second conditional. The second conditional is the third type of if conditional sentences. This tense is used to talk about a situation that we see as either improbable or unreal. We use it when we speak about present or future. So in the first conditional, we talk about the future action. In the zero conditional, we are talking about the general truth, the facts. Meanwhile, in this second conditional tense, we are talking about unreal situation, whether is it in the present or in the future. The second conditional can be used to give advice, make offers, and talk about a variety of hypothetical situations. Let's see the example. If I won a lot of money, I would buy a big house. The important question to ask is this a real or imagined situation? The answer is imagine. The second question, are we talking about the past, present, or the future? We are talking about present or the future. How probable is the if clause? The if clause is more likely unreal, and the certainty of the result clause is up to 100%. But again, this is imagination. How to form second conditional? For second conditional, we use past simple for the if clause, and then we use past future for the result. For example, if I lived in a big city, that's if with past simple, and then I would go out more often. This is the past future. The characteristic is there is a word would and if in these tenses. Another example, if I were rich, I'd spend all my time traveling. This is real? Again, since it's a second conditional, it isn't real. It's just an imagination. That is why we use were for I instead of I was. So that's the rule for if conditional. Normally, the pronoun I will be paired with was, but in if conditional, I will be paired with were instead of was. If I were you, I would be happy. That's the if conditional, not if I was you, I would be happy. No, because we are talking about imagination, imagine things, imagine situation. And here we are, the last type of if conditional is the third conditional. Third conditional is used to speculate about the consequences of something that did not happen in the past. It is called the impossible conditional. It can be used to express regret or relief. So again, let's recap. The zero conditional is for facts or a real situation. The first conditional is for something that is possibly could happen in the future. The second conditional is for the imagined situation, is in the present and in the future. Meanwhile, this third conditional is impossible. It means it's already happened and it wouldn't happen. So it just used to use to talk about regret or relief. For example, if I had studied harder, I would have passed the exam. The important question, is this real or imagined situation? The answer is imagine. Are we talking about the past, the present, or the future when we use third conditional? The answer is we are talking about the past. It's already happened, so it cannot happen in the future. It a regrets or a relief. Look at the sentence. If I had studied harder, I would have passed the exam. Did I study hard? No. Did I pass the exam? No. So how certain is the result clause? Is up to 100%. And what do I feel when I said this? When I said, if I had studied harder, I would have passed the exam. I feel regret because I didn't study hard and I didn't pass the exam. That is third conditional. How do we form the third conditional? To make a sentence in the third conditional, we use past perfect for the if clause and then would have plus past participle for the result clause. For example, if you had told me about the meeting, I wouldn't have missed it. If you had told me about the meeting is past perfect as the condition, and the result is using would have as the consequences or the result. This is another example of third conditional. If we had trained more, we wouldn't have lost. If I had studied, I could have passed the test. And those kind of sentences are the form of regret or something that we cannot do it anymore. It's just imagine things in the past and we couldn't do anything about it. That's when we use third conditional. This is the recap of all 4 types of if conditional. Feel free to pause the video if you need it. And that is all the explanation about if conditional. How was it? Can you use it in your daily life now? I hope you can. And I hope you found this video useful. So if you do think so, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for visiting and watching this video. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.